What is up guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna be mega evolving some more brawlers. So before I start, make sure to like, subscribe, and join my Discord server. Link is in the description below. Also, in my mega evolving brawlers video, I promised that if the video got 15 likes, I would make a character I made, Professor Byron, talk in the video instead of me. Now, the video didn't get 15 likes, which is fine by me. I didn't want to voice the Byron anyways. But it did get 14. So I decided that I would tell you the lore of each brawler during the drawing process. Now, the lore for the two brawlers in this video is pretty long, so you can fast forward to the final product or speed up the video if you want. Also, one last thing. Tell me which brawlers you want me to mega evolve in the comments. So, the first brawler I'm gonna be mega evolving is Grom. It was pretty hard for me to make his mega evolution because he's basically just a human, but I asked my friends to help me out with the design, and in the end, it turned out pretty nice. I'm gonna credit my friends in the comments, so yeah. Grom loved his job as Star Park's castle courtyard security guard. He loved patrolling the corridors and fighting away unruly invaders. Every once in a while, he would also have a chat with Ash, the janitor. His job wasn't perfect though. He hated one part of it, and that was when children came to play in the courtyard when they weren't supposed to, because he always had to fight them off eventually. Of course, Grom always tried to solve matters peacefully, trying to use his words first. Ask him to nicely to leave the premises. But, because the children knew he was scared of them, he would always have to put his hood on, face his fear, and fight them off. Day after day, Nita and Leon would play games, hiding in the bushes, and surprising brawlers who passed by, while Ems and Squeak spray painted and wet the walls around the courtyard with paint and dog slobber. The worst part was, those were only some of the children that came to play in the courtyard. Eventually, Grom had enough of it all. He took a day off from work and visited the scrapyard. There, he met Pam and Jessie, hunched over a table, seemingly analyzing something. Grom went over to them and explained his problem. With a conniving glance at each other, Jessie and Pam agreed to help. They said they would make Grom a special set of armor that would keep the children away. If Grom had seen the look on their faces when they agreed, however, he might have changed his mind and walked away. But he was too busy trying to stay as far away from Jessie as possible. Jessie and Pam asked for Grom's beloved walkie-talkie and a set of his clothes to help make the set of armor. And, though reluctant at first, Grom agreed. Grom left the scrapyard. He came back to the scrapyard a few days later and was amazed at what Pam and Jessie were able to create. It looked just like his normal clothing, except with intricate patterns and designs. But that wasn't the most exciting creation of Pam and Jessie. 6 metal balls that looked similar to his walkie-talkie were in a pile in the middle of the floor. The difference was that 4 of the balls were small and had 2 small hand-like things on their side, while the other 2 were big and gray, with thrusters on the bottom. Pam and Jessie explained that the 4 small balls were drones, and that they were essentially like robo-servants. They could do almost anything. Pam and Jessie then explained that the last 2 ones were basically giant drones that Grom would be able to ride in the air with. They would be very useful in battle. Finally, Grom asked how he could control them, and Pam and Jessie gave him a pink liquid in a bottle to drink. Immediately after drinking it, Grom doubled over in pain. His body seemed to be expanding at an alarming rate. His body grew more muscular, and he grew lighter on his feet. Then he stood up, his eyes glowing, and the drones rose with him. He thanked Pam and Jessie, then flew out of the scrapyard, his robo-drones following closely behind. Up in the sky, Grom had never felt more free. He whooped, and the sound echoed among the clouds. He looked forward to seeing the faces of the offending children as they realized that the once wimpy security guard had gotten stronger. Much, much stronger. Exciting news had arrived in Brawl Stars. A mysterious man had been spotted, and Edgar and Serge had disappeared. But that wasn't even the most interesting piece of news. Edgar had recently been spotted in the desert area, moving faster than any brawler and looking different, with more scarf hands than usual. A search party to find Edgar was sent out, with Shelly, Colt, and Spike being the planned members. They were the Wild West trio, so they knew the desert like the back of their hand. Nothing would escape their notice. Now, Shelly readily agreed to help, while Colt took a bit of persuasion, but one brawler outright communicated that he didn't want to do it. That brawler was Spike. Before going on the expedition, Shelly tried one last time to convince Spike. In the end, she told Spike to think about it and reconsider. Spike thought about it and had an idea. If he were the one to find Edgar, he would be more popular. Lately, his popularity had been pretty low, and this is the way to get it back up. Spike hurriedly chased after Colt and Shelly. He would be coming after all. About a day into the journey, Shelly and Colt's morale was low. However, Spike was alert and optimistic. He kept himself entertained with thoughts of eternal glory and popularity, and all he had to do was find Edgar. They walked for about an hour, and Shelly and Colt decided to rest. Spike, however, told them that he wanted to continue looking for Edgar. In the end, they decided to split up. Before Spike left, Shelly gave him a warning. Edgar was said to be way more powerful than before, and Spike could die from the desert heat even before he found Edgar, since he was bland. But Spike didn't listen. He searched for hours but found no trace of Edgar. Finally, as he was ready to give up, he saw something. Footprints of shoes, the kind that Edgar always wore. Spike followed the tracks, ignoring the growing thirst in his throat. The tracks went on for a long time, and Spike couldn't handle it. He collapsed on the hot sand, ready to close his eyes. But wait, there was a pool of pink water in front of him. Strange. Spike crept closer with all of his remaining strength. He weighed his choices. On one hand, he could die of thirst. On the other hand, the water was probably poisonous. But at this point, Spike would die if he didn't do anything, so he took the only viable option to survive. He plunged himself into the pink water. After Colt and Shelly finished their rest break, they set out to find Edgar and Spike. Spike's tracks were easy to find, but they didn't find Edgar's until much later. After following the tracks for some time, Colt pointed out small wet pink spots on the sand. A pink liquid was spilled on the sand. But the footprints showed that the liquid was spilled a long time ago, and in the desert heat, it should have evaporated a long, long time ago. Spike and Colt continued walking, and eventually, they reached the lake of pink water. Spiky vines grew all around the lake, and exotic flowers bloomed in the sand, filling the air with exotic smells. In the middle of the lake, a big red flower bloomed. Colt told Shelly that he would investigate the area and find out why the spot looked so weird. They had never seen anything like this. Colt started to walk away, but Shelly saw the tiredness in his eyes. Shelly couldn't have her partner collapsing, so she told Colt to rest. She would investigate instead. Besides, if anything jumped out at her, she always had her super. Colt would easily die if something jumped out at him. Besides, she was excited to explore the place. It was beautiful. In her haste to explore, she didn't notice the large green hands reaching out of the water. They grabbed Shelly and pulled her under, with a surprisingly strong grip, but she was able to cry for help once before she was pulled under. Colt heard the screams and immediately ran to the lake. When he reached it, Colt dove under the water. He looked around under the water and saw Shelly's leg. He grabbed it and tried to pull it out of the water, but the things that grabbed her pulled back. Colt was growing tired when he suddenly found a new strength in his limbs. Where had it come from? He managed to pull Shelly out of the water, and gasping for air, they both turned to face their foe. It had gotten out of the water, walking on roots. It spoke in a deep voice. "Hello, Shelly. Hello, Colt. Do you recognize me?" Shelly gasped. The thing, the monster that tried to kill her, was Spike. Spike attacked, and they tried to fight back, but they were easily overpowered. There wasn't much they could do, really. Spike knocked Colt unconscious and threw Shelly aside. He then ran away, his hands and legs flailing in the air. In the end, all Shelly and Colt could do was watch as Spike disappeared. They then left and started the journey home. Edgar's disappearance was second priority for now. They had to get their friend back. Alright guys, that's the end of the video. So again, make sure to like, subscribe, join my Discord server, and tell me what brawls you want me to evolve next. Oh yeah, and one last thing. Please give me feedback in the comments about what you think on this kind of video. Because personally, I don't like it because it's lots of work and it just makes the video really long for no reason. And most of you guys are probably just gonna skip over the parts where the story is playing. So yeah, please give me some feedback. Bye.